Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of ZeroCool's Hard Drive. It is the 31st of May, 2026 at the time of this recording, but you will be hearing this on the 1st of June, 2026. So hello from the past. I hope the future goes well. With me, as always, I have Dunkel, and a man who raided 1,507 fridges and still couldn't find anything decent to eat, Berg. And I'm your host, Houseman, this week. So the movie we're going to be covering this week is From Paris with Love. It is from 2010. It was directed by Pierre Morel, starring John Travolta and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. So, a nice little action romp from John Travolta. And I'm going to hand it over to Dunkel to tell us some stuffs about the movies in that year.
Yeah, so the movie was released February 5th, 2010. It grossed, let's see here. The budget for the movie was about $52 million, and it grossed $21.4 million domestically. It got a 4.7 on Rotten Tomatoes. Some other fun facts around the movie. There's a car chase scene that kind of happens throughout the movie. It was filmed on a brand new motorway in France. And the way they explained to the people in France at the time for shutting down of the highway was that it was for diplomatic use at the time for a convoy. So that's why they shut it down. There's a chess scene within the movie, which is from the 1963 From Paris with Love and Russia with Love movie. So it kind of like a homage back to that original movie. Some things that happened in 2010 in pop culture. Instagram launched on October 6th, revolutionizing photo sharing and influencer culture.
Boo.
The iPad debuted April 3rd, 2010, changing
Boo,
how people
more
consume
booze.
media. Prince Charles famously said, "I am not part of the PlayStation generation," reflecting public fascination with modern technology. Famous quote by him back then.
I'm not part of the PlayStation generation? That's a weird
Well,
take.
that's just plain insulting.
Right?
Yeah, popular movies that kind of came out around that year. The Social Network hit theaters in October. Toy Story 3, Inception, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Megamind, and Keeping Up with the Kardashians was solidified the family's global celebrity status.
Boo.
Yeah, more booze. Lots of booze in the news.
That
Booze
is
in the news today.
2010 and some random factoids around From Paris with Love.
Awesome. Thank you,
Nice.
Dunkel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who wants to kick us off here and launch right into the movie?
I mean, the movie starts pretty simply. You're just driving down the road. Jonathan Rhys Meyers' character.
Not
Just
to be
drive-
confused with Jonathan Rhys Davies, which I always
Right.
do for some reason.
I know. I mean, they're very close. Basically, just driving down a road in Paris. They definitely make sure that you know that they're in France right away. You find out that he's working for the American consulate, right, in France.
Yeah, embassy.
Yeah.
At the
working for
embassy, working for the embassy. They try to establish right away that he's a smart person. Like, he really knows chess. He looks like he has it all together as the assistant to the ambassador.
Thank you. That was one thing I made in my notes, is that they really tried hard in that opening scene to make him seem like, he plays chess without even thinking about it. He's a smart guy.
Yeah,
Really trying to establish that.
They really tried to establish that he was a very smart person.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a phone call from somebody who we never actually understand who it is. Most likely like a handler person.
That was the impression I got, is stateside there was some sort of handler.
Yeah, I had a huge mental note for myself on that. They never really cross off who his hitman handler, I guess is what you would, because you figure the prime minister or the gentleman that he's worked with the whole time would give him most of the direction, but he's getting direction from a completely different individual the entire time. So that was weird.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be his assistant's being an assistant was supposed to be like a cover. I think but they never say who he's working for. They never say CIA. They never say some black ops group. They never actually say what like company, if you want to call it that. What
And I
what
was
he's
confused
actually
at
working
first
for.
too, because I was like, okay, is he like a seasoned sort of, secret agent, or just get into the game? It wasn't until like kind of later on that it really became clear.
It seemed like he was there for a moment because like minor jump forward when he talks to his fiance, he's like, "It's the promotion I've been waiting for."
Right, because the one thing that they have him do is just like flip some license plates, so the license plates are different, which they don't really explain why he's flipping license plates and moving that. I'm pretty sure it's a Cadillac, right? Escalade.
Yeah, it was an
Yeah,
Escalade.
it's an Escalade.
So he moves the Escalade in the parking garage, thinks that he sees some people who might want to get him, possibly, and then nothing happens there, and he just changes the license plates. Which I had a note because he opens that thing and it has a gun behind the glass, in a glass case. It says "break for emergencies." If you're in a shootout and you need a gun, it doesn't. Why would it be behind glass?
And you already put a passcode in.
Yeah,
Right.
The dude already put a passcode in the secret compartment. I don't think you need the addition of break in case of emergency glass.
no, you definitely don't. And that was like, if you're in a shootout, speed is what you need. You don't need to be breaking. What's he going to break the glass with?
Oh, he's gone. If shootout starts, he's gone. Period. End of story.
I did like a quick kickback. I thought it was kind of funny, like all that stuff like circling what was happening with him, and who was the guy he was working for? He had a meeting with the prime minister, but who is the guy he was actually like with?
It was
The
ambassador.
the American ambassador.
Yep, the actual
and
the
for
ambassador to
ambassador's,
France.
Like, first question when he sees him leaving, like, "Hey, make sure I'm sitting next to the prime minister at this," and also figure out who he's sleeping with. Is it the blonde secretary or the brunette? And he's like, "I'm sorry, it's both of them."
It's both.
Yeah.
I love the French, is what he says. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You sly dog.
And that starts a little bit of like the raunchy little jokes here and there. Very seldom, not very 90s heavy, but definitely like that was like an interesting little humor moment.
Yeah, it is labeled as an action comedy. So it wasn't actually trying to take itself too seriously as a spy movie.
Yeah.
So then he gets another phone call saying that he needs to bug a meeting. He needs to bug the French. I don't even know who they were talking about.
It was the prime minister, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he was talking to the French ambassador because it was like both of the aides were there.
Right, and then he says, "Yeah, I really want to be part of special operations," and he didn't even notice that somebody had put something in his 2-pocket suit coat. Like, that's not how you get to be on operations. Like, are you kidding me?
Because he's talking to his handler. He's like, "What chip?"
And he's like, I didn't get a chip. He's like, "Oh, I was told you've had it all day." He's like, I don't think so. He's like, "Check your left pocket." He's like, "Oh, there it is. Bye." Like, obviously, you're not going to be part of special operations if can't even notice somebody put something in your pocket.
And I think that's what's important to note here, right? Is like at the beginning they're like, "Oh, look at this smart guy just playing chess so casually," and then we get to the point where it's like, "Oh, you realize this guy really isn't set up to be any kind of secret agent because he's trying to like
definitely
attach this
rookie.
bug with bubble gum." To the bottom
definitely
of the desk,
a rookie.
Fails.
Ends up stapling it.
Yeah, that's the thing I had. I was like, what kind of high-tech hearing device are we using where it doesn't even come with like a sticky back, where he's just gotta like shove some gum on it and like try and stick it to the thing, and then in the end of all, he can't even get it to work, so he just happens to have a stapler out of nowhere, and he just like bolts it to the freaking table when everybody's walking out. And I didn't understand his whole like idea of like trying to draw the attention of him, of the guy that they were meeting with, like in an abrupt way, to let them all walk out the room, and they didn't notice him just stay behind to do that anyway. So like,
no, not really. He stands up and asks him about a certain type of painting that he has. Is what he was saying. Like the American ambassador was obviously into paintings, and that was his. I'm going to use a painting as a distraction. Like, don't you have 2 of these? I can't remember what the painting was,
but also the guy he's working with, he's never in on any of it because he never knows what he's doing in the background. So
No,
then
like I said, I think his being an assistant was just a cover. Was his cover. They like, put him in a high place, give him some connections to high people and higher ups, and then leave him there until they need him, basically.
Yep. And then we continue with, I think it was after this, right, where he's like, "Hey, I'm ready for the big time." I mean, essentially saying that to the handler, like, "Yo, I can take this. Give me a bigger job."
Yeah, and that's when he sends him to the airport to, all right, perfect. You're going to go pick up John Travolta. And he says, when? And this is after he goes home with his, not fiance yet, but she gives him a ring and proposes, basically saying,
Yeah,
hey,
she proposes to him.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have done this, you never would have. And then
Right.
he accepts, and then they tell them, like, okay, if you want bigger, better things, you're going to go pick up Travolta at the airport. He's being
Charlie Wax.
Yeah, he's being held by customs at this time. Get him out, basically. And he has like these energy drinks that he's trying to get into the country, and they can't figure out why, and like that's why he's being held by customs.
I actually kind of enjoyed that scene, just like the banter and the back and forth with like about it's just caffeine, sugar, and water.
Yeah, and him just yelling in the French officer's face, just swear word after swear word.
This does not come into France.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a ad placement energy drink, I don't think, because it was like Rattlesnake or something like that. Unless it was some brand I've never heard of ever, but it was like Rattlesnake Energy or something like that.
I think they were definitely poking fun at just like energy drinks in general.
Yeah, and they're yelling. I'm saying there's no way this is coming into the country. And then he's like, yeah, just toss him some money and just get this guy laid tonight or something. He's like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, basically just bribe him, yeah.
They're just screaming back and forth, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then he just happens to have a diplomatic mail sticker in his pocket and just slaps that on there. And like, I had a note, like trying to like, and this is a weird experience. The only other version I have of like diplomatic freedom in movies is the princess movie with
The Princess Bride.
I don't think it's the Princess Bride.
Not Princess Bride.
Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries. Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
What do you
expect from me?
Not even like Lethal Weapon 2.
No.
Like Lethal Weapon 2 with diplomatic immunity. I mean, come
on. No.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
like I was just interesting that he just happened to have a sticker the whole time, and they're just like, yeah, you're not bringing these in. Nope, bringing it in. So like I just understanding why diplomats get so much freedom is still a confusing thing to me.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. It said diplomatic mail. So you're telling me that diplomatic mail doesn't get checked at all?
Right.
They can just bring
Well, I mean,
whatever
it
they
been
want.
Checked. I think
it couldn't have been checked.
I'd be interested to know, like,
because skip forward, the drinks actually happen to have a gun in the inside. Like,
yeah, the drinks have. They could have been lead lined, I guess, possibly. Yeah. But
I'd be curious as to the legality of that for sure. But I mean, I'm sure it's something like the French government probably just can't open something labeled diplomatic mail.
Yeah, one problem I had with that is like he's Jonathan Rhys's character, which I think was called Rhys, which was also weird.
Yeah.
I believe was James Rhys was his name. I feel like it was really weird that he like stood back, let Charlie Wax talk, John Travolta's character. Why didn't he just walk in there and slap that on there as soon as he realized the situation?
Right.
Why even try to be like, we'll grab you some espressos on the way out, just leave those here, or why not just be like, diplomatic immunity, get out of here? Like,
I think it was trying to like lead into like he doesn't trust him yet, and he doesn't know who he is, and then they try to lean into like him trusting him a little bit more as it goes. I think that's like the leading point of like setting the tone of like, I don't know what this guy is or what he's about, and I'm not gonna let him just do whatever he wants.
Also setting the tone of John Travolta being the loudmouth American.
Yeah.
Like, very much so, this guy is going to be a loudmouth American this entire movie.
But like the loudmouth competent American.
Right.
I mean, I'd had like several notes of like, why are we always doing things the hard way?
Well, like, and it's like England and them get James Bond, we get loudmouth Americans who shoot first and ask questions later.
And wear leather jackets and jeans.
What is the hitman technically? Isn't he technically American, or what is that like origin? Did they not have a true origin really?
Which
like
hitman?
Stateside.
Like the Hitman?
barcode ones. Yeah, the Hitman. Bald barcode guys.
I don't even remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember who they actually work for. They're all over, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we get into like Dunkel said, he picks him up. They get in the vehicle. He starts taking out the energy drinks, and it ends up being just a cover for putting his gun back together. Pieces of his gun inside of the energy drinks.
Of course, to which Rhys is like, "Hey, I could have just got you a gun. Like it's not that hard to procure you a gun."
Yep, and he's not a gun like not this gun though.
He's like, "This is my baby," and he kisses it. It's like, okay.
Which, to be honest, it didn't look that crazy or special. Or I mean, it looked like a pretty standard issue high caliber pistol.
It's an intimate relationship.
They've
been through things.
It shoots the way he wants it to shoot, and then they go.
I guess it's just something I won't understand.
No, probably not. And then they go to a Chinese restaurant. I believe it's a Chinese restaurant.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And then they're just like having a little banter at the table, and they start talking about egg foo yun and how it's not actually a Chinese dish. It
was invented by a Jewish guy in San Francisco.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And he's like,
Chinese
no
word
way.
For egg is don.
Yeah. And then he goes, hey, to the waiter. He's like, hey, come over here and settle this argument. It's like, what's the Chinese word for egg? And he says something about being like fourth generation.
Yeah, so
I'm like fourth generation. I don't speak Chinese.
French. Yeah, I don't know.
And then he just, and then Charlie Wax just slams him into the table.
Which that part was like whiplash for me. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, because they seemed like they were just going there to maybe like scope the place out, and then he just smashes them into the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically all heck breaks loose because he starts asking. The entire
restaurant apparently is armed.
Yeah,
chefs, waiters, hostesses,
all the chefs, waiters, everybody. He keeps asking where the drugs are, and then you get which is weird for me, a John Travolta action star sequence where he's shooting everybody. You have Rhys just hiding, like. Obviously, never been around guns for someone who wants to be spec ops. Is just hiding in the corner.
He talks about that on the phone, like leading into before he meets with Travolta. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, like I'm not a field officer, kind of thing." And that's where it's like, "You do this, you'll be a part of the group," kind of thing. But yeah, like that was my first note point of like we're just doing things the hard way. So they finally like end up killing everybody but the main waiter that helped them out, or where he's asking everything. And then he's asking where all the stuff is, and he won't tell him. And then he kind of like glances at the ceiling, and then he just like launches this like submachine gun all over the ceiling, and then just cocaine is just raining out of the ceiling.
Just raining cocaine.
Yeah, I was like, first note, I was like, why are we hiding it in the ceiling? Okay, that's just weird.
It's a weird place to hide it. Yes, very weird place to hide it.
I feel like the ceiling would collapse if you got enough up there, too.
But and then
it's raining the whole time. And then he has him grab a vase, and he's like, fill it up. And he's just standing there with this vase, filling it up with cocaine. I'm like, alrighty.
Yeah, I wrote down...
Why are we doing this? He's like, that sounds better than gold here.
Right, I wrote down, wouldn't they be breathing it in the whole time? Because it was falling from everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
The powder was in everything around them. So they would just be breathing it in constantly.
Yeah,
they would have been so high.
But like as Rhys was running out, he like runs underneath one. You can watch it just pour all over him. So like he would have been just bug-eyed.
Oh yeah,
everywhere he went.
And then they get
honestly,
vase.
I loved the piece of the vase with the cocaine and it just being this like set piece.
Yeah,
for so long though. Yeah. It was this crazy long joke that he was carrying it the whole time, but it was like half the movie.
Yeah, so I was gonna jump into like he yells at the waiter and he's like, "You're gonna be alive, but you tell whoever's left in your gang." What was his tagline? He told them.
He said, "Wax on, wax off."
Wax on, wax off. And then they just drive around the block and park, and they let the guy run out, and like they're just gonna follow him. And like Rhys is just sitting there with the cocaine vase in the car, going, "Wax on, wax off." What does that mean?
Yeah, like what is that? Well, you know, like
it took
wax is on the case.
Yeah, it took me a second too because his name's Charlie Wax. Yeah, like wax is on. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta have something catchy, you know. You gotta have something you can like Go by.
So they finally follow this guy to what I'm assuming is his boss, and they end up in this parking lot, and there's a gang of kids standing there, and basically they're yelling at him like, "You don't belong here. What are you doing?" But just before that, they're opening the back safe in his vehicle, and he's like, "Well, it's password protected." He's like, I got a good guess. And he guesses correctly, and he opens up this highly protected base in the back of his Cadillac.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he probably got the code, but he opens up a different one that actually has guns, not behind safety glass.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of machine guns and different weapons. And one other problem I have is all those guns, he hands them a revolver with 6 shots in it.
Yep.
And no extra ammo.
Nope.
That is the joke, I guess.
I guess, but like, that's the worst gun to give him out of all of the guns. Why are we giving him a 6-shooter?
Yeah, but he holds onto that gun for quite a minute too before actually like.
Well, he holds onto the vase just as long too.
What I thought was a little bit weird though is because like right in the restaurant, he's like, he had these waiters and waitresses and whatever shooting at him with these like high-powered machine guns, but there's this little street gang with some like bats and crowbars. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Rhys is like, "Oh man, you can't mess with those guys."
Yeah, you can't mess with those guys.
Yeah, it's like they're street toughs, like
generic
street toughs.
And Charlie and Wax was like, I don't know, they're no like Sinaloa gang or something along those lines. Like
from LA,
he was like, he was like, they're just a bunch of Chinese dudes or something like that.
They're dragon heads or something like that.
Then they did I had a note the classic fight one person at a time in a group of 10 people. Like, if there's that many people, they would probably just jump on him. Like, nope, they all just take a chance on him. He's like pulling the top of their guns off and stabbing them in the throat and everything.
Well, I mean, they did that whole like slow action. It was more like he attacked them instead of them attacking him, because they did like the slow down, speed up, slow motion, speed up again. So I guess I didn't really see it as like one at a time. He was more he went on the offensive like right away.
Yeah. All I saw it as was like, you had the restaurant scene, like, hey, he can handle a gun. Mm-hmm. And then, now we got to do the scene where he can handle himself physically in a melee fight, and that's kind of what this one was.
Yeah.
Again, a bit gratuitous, bit cheesy, but I dug it.
Yeah, and then they go into the building where they're looking for the boss of the cocaine trade, and you get the going up the spiral staircase. Charlie Wax is just shooting and then throwing these people off of the stairs. Down the stairs.
I don't want anybody sneaking up behind me.
Yeah.
So he just
definitely people. A big comedy piece.
Yeah. Just basically, it was like 5 or 6 people he just chucks off of the spiral staircase.
Yeah, and he gets to the top of that staircase, and there's just a child's program going on for, I'm guessing, what is the mob boss, and then. So then they kind of shake the guy down, trying to figure out where their cocaine is. And I had a note for this because we had the same issue, and I believe it was when we were watching The Deer Hunter with like subtitles, with like all this French stuff going on, all this Mandarin happening. They have subtitles for majority of like the other languages that are going on. They just says speaking Mandarin. And the only time they actually put true subtitles for what he said in Mandarin was when he's just like, instead of telling him, do this or we're going to kill everybody here, basically he says, do it, think of the children. And that's the only time they actually translate the Mandarin that he's saying. The rest of it, they just says speaking Mandarin.
Right. I think it was because Charlie was telling him what to say. They just didn't see a point in putting the subtitles.
Even for the other moments in the movie with people speaking Mandarin, it just says speak, because they start running through. After that, they end up getting through like the front of whatever this like mob boss area is, which looks like a bunch of mannequins, and you just see keeps on says screaming in Mandarin, speaking in Mandarin.
I think it's like an inside joke for people who speak Mandarin or something. They're just saying nonsense.
Yeah, it was interesting.
That'd be a funny tidbit if that were true.
Speaking about them, the firefight that happens with the mannequins, these have to be the worst gangsters ever.
Yeah, that was my next note. Is like, what is it?
Like
stormtroopers.
As good as Charlie Wax is with a gun and running around, they have the worst shots ever. Mm-hmm. They have machine guns. They have like Tech 9s, shooting all this, basically firing all over the place. Never hit. I mean, it's crazy how terrible they are.
Yeah, I was like, total stormtrooper moment. We're just watching them go. And the next note I had was like, does nobody like to fire from cover? Everybody just likes to stand in the open and just get shot in the face.
Basically,
and of course, what would the scene be without the slow down, gun in each hand, firing at all the guys in the mannequin?
Yeah, I thought that
Standing
was
in the middle of the room.
very. I thought that was
180s,
very
360s.
very cheesy. Yeah, that was very.
It reminded me a lot of Face Off, kind of. I mean, obviously being John Travolta, right? Like, definitely. But yeah, it kind of reminded me some of that I think it was John Woo that directed Face Off, right? But yeah, some of that kind of action.
Oh yeah, definitely a John Woo moment there. Yeah, with bullets flying all over the place, just hands across,
And then
shooting everybody.
And he's out of
Guns
ammunition,
akimbo.
and he looks at Rhys and he's like, basically nods at him like, "Throw me your gun." And then he's like, holding his vase of cocaine still. And he's like, okay, just slide this gun across the box, and he shoots the guy in the face. And he just like hardcore sniffs the smoke coming out of the gun and just like slowly walks away.
Yeah, and then they make it out of there. I don't know if they like end up somewhere where Rhys calls his boss to tattle, which this is where I started really not liking the Rhys character, like, at all.
Yeah, it's like, oh, his methods are unorthodox.
Yeah, his methods are all. No, are you sure this is on the level? Like, your boss told you to do this. Like, this was your
opportunity. He gets things done.
This is your opportunity. He's unorthodox. He gets things done. Don't ever call me again. Like, don't call and tattle. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like,
guy wants to be
tag along, my guy.
Guy wants to be special operations, and he can't handle some firefights and say, like, I don't think this guy's cut out for what he needs to be.
Right.
I think we've established he kind of sucks at it.
Yes, we definitely have. Still carrying the vase.
Yes. Now, was it before this scene or was it after this scene that Charlie finally makes him like, "Hey, you need to try some of that"?
It was right after he tattles on him.
Okay,
is when they're going to the Eiffel Tower.
Wait, before we get that, I want to make one note, because after he gets done with the boss, the girlfriend calls and she's upset, and then his phone battery dies, and then I was very upset with this. I'm sure if you picked up on it, that he's trying to call her back. Obviously, the phone's dead. He opens the back of his phone, takes out the battery, rubs it on his wrist jacket, puts it back in the phone, and the phone is charged, and he tries to call her, and it dies quickly. I'm like, what is that a thing? Like,
it used to be that used to be a thing. You used to be able to get a little bit more out of your battery from rubbing it.
But
Casey,
probably
when
was.
you were winding up your phone back in the day, did you ever?
Oh,
yeah, that did used to be a thing. When you had an actual phone battery, you could get a little bit more juice out of it.
I guess I just grew up with like just stick your tongue on the end of it just to make sure it's charged.
But also, my old Nokia brick kept working no matter what happened.
Pretty much, yeah. I had one of those bricks too. My problem with the phone call from the girlfriend was she was like, "Oh, you just disappeared," and blah blah. He told her it was his opportunity for a promotion. Why is she calling? Why is she calling him? Why is she calling him mad about it?
This like, for me, like, even like the most blind person, I feel like, could start picking up on, like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but like what it was leading to. Like, she's constantly contacting him, or she's kind of around, kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's saying, like, invite him to dinner too. That was the other thing. Like, invite your friend to dinner. It's like, you don't even know this guy.
Right.
He could be a stone cold killer. Oh wait, he is.
Yeah, so they shoot up the cocaine, but then they go to the Eiffel Tower, but not really for anything. They just go up, they go around, look at the scenery, and then they just leave to some Paris pimp, basically.
Yeah, that's where he makes them take coke while they're going up the elevator to the Eiffel Tower. Which and then they get in the vehicle after he's like tripping, and you have a very Training Day. I don't know if you guys have seen Training Day. A very Training Day moment where he's like yelling at him, and he's like, "Who cares about some girl who died or who overdosed?" And he's like, "It's not about the drugs," and he starts screaming at him. It's about terrorists. Which, how can John Travolta's character be like, it's about terrorists? Obviously, out of where is it about terrorism?
Yeah, there's not even a niece in the first place. Like, they're not going after the cocaine because of some niece that died.
Yeah,
no, they haven't hinted at like anything about.
Yeah, he's like, there was never about the niece. It's about terrorists funneling money through drugs, and it's like, how is he supposed to? What?
You shot up a Chinese restaurant,
got drugs,
and then you shot up a mannequin factory.
Yeah.
How's this about terrorism?
So and then it kind of kicks back into like the subtle comedy moments where like John Travolta slams on the brakes like, "Oh, we're here," and then like Rhys just spills cocaine over the front of the dash. He's like, "Oh my god!" He's trying to like shuffle it back into the
I wrote that down
good,
too.
yeah.
Spilled that Coke all over the place. Just a Coke covered caddy in the middle of like downtown Paris.
Yeah, then they're walking up, and he's like, "I'm gonna need you to act like you're coked up, or like you're drugged up, some kind of drugged up guy, or like nervous." And like clearly he is like coked up and everything. He's like walking around, like walking up, like, "Oh man, oh my god."
Yep. And then they meet that pimp, ask for some girls so they can get a vantage point on a bank, I believe is what it's supposed to be.
Yep. And
real quick,
they jump in a note. Go ahead.
Does anybody remember the dog licking his cocaine-covered hand?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, dogs. And then
I had to laugh to myself. I'm like, oh, are they going to show the dog later, just totally buzzed or something?
right, yeah. So yeah, then they get up there. John Travolta is going to do stuff with the prostitute that they get.
Well, we kind of skipped over when they jump in the elevator on their way up because his phone's dead. He can't call his girlfriend. As they're getting in the elevator, his girlfriend walks by.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, as they're walking through the hall,
with the
she has like some bolts of fabric or something, and she's like, "Hey, what?"
She has a whole bunch of like orange fabric. Yeah.
Yep.
And
he's like, "I'll tell you later."
And he's like, she's probably not going to be upset with you because she's here with me. If anything, you should be questioning why she's even here in the first place while we're here.
Right. And he's just like, "Oh, she has to buy fabric from different places."
Yeah.
Like, a back street.
Still
a back street pimp's hotel. You have to get fabric from. And then so they kick down the door of a different place where they were supposed to go, and then kick a guy out. And then Rhys wants
poor German guy.
Yeah, poor German guy just trying to get some love. Gets a gun pointed at him for his phone charger.
It's like just yelling at him in German. I need your charger.
Yeah, I need your charger. Schnell. Where like Charlie Wax is like, yeah, there's what we need. We need this, and then he's like, what are you crazy? Just get some phone charger to plug his phone in.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna need you to check on her across the street. I'm gonna be in here doing some different things, and then he like hooks up with the girl anyway. in the
bathroom, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's watching them, and then then the pimps start trying to break down the door. Charlie Wax is just like, shoot them, like just shoot the guys. And he's like, I'm not going to shoot them. And then they kick down the door, start beating the crap out of Rhys while Charlie Wax is looking out the window at the guys that they are going to have to follow.
I love how like
not
Charlie
a care in the
like,
world.
Just looking back occasionally, like, I guess I got to do something.
Well, he kept like looking back, like, he's not dead yet. Oh, he's okay for now. Like,
it's like, all right, he's not going to do anything about this, is he? Pow pow.
And then they work their way downstairs, and they end up catching one of the vehicles, and they're like, oh, we can't really like follow it. And then out of nowhere, he just pulls out this smartwatch, but not really like a smartwatch, and he hits a few buttons, and then just like jumps to like a satellite, like, yep, this is the vehicle we're tracking, we know what we're doing, kind of thing.
Yep, giving them the eye in the sky.
Yep.
Which you don't see very much spy gear in this movie, but there's a couple moments with some cool spy stuff.
Yeah, definitely, but like the telescoping thing that he uses later on as well. But like I also had like a secondary note of like, we're probably like 40 minutes with him like carrying this vase around the entire time, and nobody's saying absolutely anything about it or being concerned about like, hey, what's in there?
I do remember when they first got to the apartment complex or whatever it is, the brothel, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that the guard like kind of just peek it over a little bit, seeing what's in it. He's like, "Ooh."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Charlie Wax says something like, "We got the good money to get in," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then they get let in, and the guard is like, "Don't look that guy in the eyes," and it's like a 7-year-old kid with a pistol.
Yep.
Why did you look him in the eye? They told you not to look him in the eye. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, and then he actually puts his hands up and like kneels down, and he's like, "Now this is where you don't fight back." And he's like, "I learned something in like Uganda where if a kid points a gun at you, you just listen."
Yeah.
If you got a 7-year-old with a shaky hand and a gun pointed at you.
Yeah,
you do what he says.
And then they take all their jewelry, including the ring that he got for the engagement, which he was very mad about, obviously. And then the actual drug dealer puts the ring on, and then offers them a little bit of cocaine, which they already have a vase filled with cocaine. Like none of these kids notice that this cocaine is in there while they're kneeling down, and he has it. Like you should be able to see in the vase.
And they offer him a little bag. It was like, hey, $50 for this, you know.
And his hands would not like, what's in here?
Yeah, he offers them like $50 for a little baggie, and he's like, no, I want a pound. And the guy's like, this isn't. I think he says something about this isn't Mexico or something along those lines.
Like we can't get that quantity of like.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't Bogota.
Yeah. This isn't Bogota. Like yeah. And then Rhys's character whispers in Wax's ear that a fifth is for personal use, but more than that, it's 15 years in prison. Something along those lines. Right. So like they could get a lot more trouble if they have more than just that little baggie.
Yeah, he's like, if you think they get in trouble with that, what do you think? How do you think they feel if they get caught with 5 kilos of their own stuff? And he like glances at him, and he has his vase in his hand. He's like, "Oh, that's what this is for."
Well, yeah, and he just drops it. Like I don't understand that part either. Like you couldn't just be like reach your hand in there and be like, "Look how much I have." Like nope, just drop it on the floor, and then all of them scatter.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because they didn't want to be seen like around that quantity.
Right. I mean, it's a large quantity, but
they're like, "Oh my gosh."
And then Charlie.
I'm in a weird plot device to get them all like out of there.
Yeah, sure. Very weird. And then Charlie puts a gun on the drug dealer, asking him questions, and then Rhys starts beating the crap out of the drug dealer to get his ring. And it was one of the notes I made. It was like, why did he just ask for him to take the ring off with the gun on his head?
Right.
Why did he go through the whole thing of like beating him and trying to rip the ring off when he had a gun on his head? Just be like, give me my ring.
Showing his love for his girl, like she magically touched him. Like, how dare you?
This is where I draw my line.
He just starts like punching that guy for the ring, which is
I'll get the crap beat out of me by 2 guys and do nothing, but this is where I draw the line.
Yeah. So then they use.
So he gets his ring back.
Yeah, he gets his ring back. They have the guy take him upstairs to a room above the room that they need to be in. I guess I was kind of confused between that to just some old guy, and they just break the doors down, and then the old man's just like chilling with the whole idea that the people broke in, and they even offer him tea anyway. He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, I can't remember what his line was.
He's like an old
I'm just too old to worry about this crap.
Yeah, he's like an old Pakistani, probably seen war and things like that, and he's just like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Do you want some tea? Like, you want some mint? You want some mint tea or something like that?
He's like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like, not much has changed. And then like you see Travolta slam some things in the background off the counter. He's like, manners. That's the only thing that's really changed, I guess.
Yeah.
People are less polite about it.
Yeah, people are less polite about it. And yeah, I thought we were going to get into like kind of like a debate in there, like with a moment with that old guy, because Rhys's character says something along the lines of like people were just as evil back then and stuff like that. And but then you didn't really get any payout from that either. I thought we were going to have like a small little
couple lines.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have like a little moment there where they were going to maybe discuss things, but. Yeah, then he takes out that
chill old guy.
Yeah, Charlie Wax takes out the telescoping camera to look at the floor below to see that they're all packing up the area that they're in. And he's like, "Go down there and watch the door. I'm gonna go this way." And he ties a rope and a hook to a pole and just jumps out and into the floor below through the window.
Paracords out.
And you get another bunch of gun fighting.
Yeah, and then so they're kind of going back and forth again. Like there's all these explosives in this room around her, and then Rhys kind of finally makes it down. He's like, "Oh, I'm at the door. Do you want me to come in?" 1, why would you ask to go in the first place? Because you hear all this shooting. 2, he tells him, "No, don't come in because there's an explosive at the door. So please don't come in." And then he realizes there's like a fire pole in the middle of the room, and the people are actually escaping to the floor below him. And he's like, "Oh, go down to the floor below him. They're gonna get out." And he's like, okay, so he runs down there. And then I had a weird like note about like Travolta like follows behind these guys, and then he like kind of exotic dancer grabs the pole with his leg and slides down.
Yeah.
That's what
It was actually
it
was actually a pretty cool move, honestly.
I'm like, those are some good stage moves, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he grabs the pole with his legs going head first, and starts shooting as he goes down.
Yeah,
it was a well executed scene. I'll put it that way. Yeah,
and then you kind of get three guys make it out completely, and one guy meets up with Rhys, and he tries to like stop him. He's like, "Hey, quit moving!" And you get Rhys's first like reality check moment where the guy just grabs his gun, says a prayer, and just pulls the trigger on himself. And then he finally catches up with Wax, and he says, "How many made it out?" He's like, "Oh, 2 or 3." And then he goes in the room with all these vests, and he's just like, "Okay, how many seconds per floor?" Maybe 6 seconds per floor. And he's doing all this math, and then he just like grabs the vest, plugs it in, and drops it on the car below, and it blows the people up. I had noticed, like, how did he know the math on the vest? Like, how did he know what the timer was set was already? He just like plugged and go.
It wasn't a timer.
Possible, yeah.
They were shock vests. I don't know if you guys caught that. They
No.
called them shock vests. So they, like, I don't know if you've ever watched MythBusters. They have those shock triangles that show how much force it takes to like break somebody's head open or does something like that. It, like, or like even like in shipping containers, there'll be like things that can break. They were shock vests, so they were set up to like if someone has the vest on and they get shot and they fall, the vest will still go off.
So
because
the
shock will break it'll break something in that little triangle and then it blows up, regardless of what people do. So yeah, they were shock vests. They mention it later on. They don't think they mentioned it right there in that scene, but that was what the thing was. That's why it goes off when it hits the car. That's what happens. Yeah, the shock vest goes off.
Yeah, we have a total.
I appreciated that scene though. You know, the good like just calculated get the bad guys scene.
Yeah, and I kind of had a problem though because they left no one alive. I get that they were trying to clear out this terrorist cell, but like all that intel in there, you don't want any intel from the people. He left 0 people alive in that room and outside.
I mean, to be frank, you bring up a good point in that like a lot of the stuff they were doing didn't really get them that much intel at all.
No.
Like if you look at like the first 3 or 4 major action scenes, like they didn't talk to anybody. They didn't seem to get any information.
Yeah, he says that like, he starts grabbing computers and like, oh, it's a wealth of intel. Wouldn't intel from the people be a little bit better, possibly?
Yeah. Like, real intel
you would think
is vague. He's in the one room and he sees just a bunch of photos of Rhys. And he's like, well, I swear this isn't like, I'm not doing any of this. He's like, yeah, but like your photos everywhere. So that's just kind of weird.
Why are you a part of this?
Yeah, this isn't about me. You're a part of this.
Yeah, and then they steal, the cops come. Rhys tries to stop the cops from going to the floor that has the explosives. You get that moment where Charlie Wax is like, we have to save more people, and we can't just try to save these cops because they're going to stop us from doing what we have to do.
Yeah, basically it's like, hey, if we go in this hallway, we try to stop them, they're going to think we're criminals. They're going to try to stop us, shoot us, arrest us, whatever. And obviously we're not going to be able to do what we need to do. Which sucked, right? I mean, that was like,
which is a crappy thing. But so the cops open the door, it explodes. Rhys gets part of that explosion. Wax picks him up. They run outside, steal a cop car, which is like a station wagon, which I thought was a weird cop car. I guess I don't know if they use it in France, but it was like almost like a Subaru Outback.
And a 2010 basically. France at that.
That's true.
And yeah, for some reason, it's Rhys is like, well, wait a second, why are we taking this? Like, we've got the SUV back there.
Yeah, well,
or what was it? I had to get some stuff out of the SUV.
He wanted
or something
to go
like that.
wipe his prints and everything.
He's like, my prints and everything are in there, and Wax is like, oh, well, fine, we'll just do this. He's like, you want to, or what did he say? You want to stop the car, go back there, wipe your prints, wipe everything, start it on fire, and then go? He's like, yeah, it'll be 1 second.
Yeah, he's like, no, or we do this, and he backs up, and then you see that the van or the Cadillac was actually like rigged with explosive, and it blows up, and he's like, oh my god. He's like, there,
taken care of.
Yeah, does that work?
Okay. Taken care of. Yeah, and then they meet some trench coats, is what Wax calls them, with all the evidence that they have collected. So they could go through all the evidence, and they hand him a bag that he calls his only vice in the world, basically.
What's in this
The only
bag
thing that
is
can
gonna
kill
kill
him.
me one day.
And it's
of course,
a Royale with cheese.
and we all know what that was a reference to, don't
Oh
we?
yeah, Pulp Fiction. I knew,
Pulp Fiction.
right away. I caught that.
I'm like, oh, Royale with cheese.
Yeah, had to do the Pulp Fiction reference there.
And then they get done eating the burgers that they gave to him, and then he still offers them to come over for dinner anyway, and he still comes with them.
Yeah.
You can
Well, I think at this point, like, you know, they kind of like, you have that like bonding moment where it's like, hey, you know, you actually did pretty good today.
Yeah, they have a little bonding moment. You did good today. You still get, this is where like I didn't like Rhys's character. He was still like acting like a shy newbie. He's already been in a bunch of firefights at this point in time. Maybe he hasn't shot anybody, but he's still been like in it, and he's still just acting like he's no good, blah blah blah, pity party type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gets a text that his fiance specifically says, "Dinner's ready, waiting on you. Bring your friend." Specifically.
So they go back to his apartment, and there's oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on her name? Somebody help me here.
His
Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline. Yep.
And there's Caroline with
and one of her
I
friends.
believe points out it's like a Pakistani friend.
Yeah.
So basically, right, she has this friend over there cooking. Charlie sits down, relaxes with Rhys, and he's making some kind of racist jokes.
Yeah, he makes a couple racist jokes. He pretends
like,
to be a textile importer or something like that, and
and then he mentions it kind of low key, like the Pakistan, like insulting Pakistani people, and then she kind of gives this look back. Yeah, not completely offended, so it makes you wonder.
Yeah, and then he starts telling them the truth of what they've been doing all day, like, and then but everybody laughs because like it's so crazy that it's like, yeah, okay, buddy, you're out there,
it's like, oh sure, yeah, you
killing
killed all of them, all
killing
the
terror cells, yeah, all the bad guys.
He was like, what was it about? A rate of 1 per hour?
Yeah, 1 per hour, I think it was.
Which it was, yeah, we killed like 26 people.
Yep. And then they have lunch. It kind of cuts forward a little bit. They are eating their food, and then one of the friend gets a phone call, and she's like, "No, there's no Rose here." And then she hangs up. She's like, must have been the wrong number. And then Charlie's whole mood changes to like, Jonathan Travolta looked pretty evil when his mood changed there.
Yeah,
like
his scene was like,
that's the call we're waiting for.
Yeah, and he just boom, no hesitation.
Yeah, there was like no lead up or anything. It was just nope, boom. Yeah. And you're like, oh my god, what just happened?
Yeah, there's no like backstory. He does have he makes like a phone call that he's like, yeah, we're gonna be waiting for something, but that's the phone call waiting for, and then just boom, nothing, just at the dinner party.
Well, because he said, and what he says was like after the fact, of course, was like, hey, her number was at like all the places we went. So
yeah, her number was in all of the files and all the places that we went at. And then Rhys starts freaking out. Charlie is pointing the gun at Caroline now, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "This whole place is probably bugged." Starts looking for a bug, finds one in the lamp, I believe, is where he finds one right away. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Look at this," and then Rhys is getting that whole moment of like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
The gravity hits him. He's like, oh, you're right.
But then here was a weird thing for me. He says, "What do you have anything that she gave you?" And he's like, "Oh, the ring." And she's like,
"No." He says, "No." And Travolta goes, "No, it's the effing ring, man."
Yeah, he's like, "It's the ring," which I don't understand, because once he gets the ring and she like, don't take the ring off, like it means something way more than being an engagement ring. Mm-hmm. Which I was kind of weird too. And then he gives it to him, he hands him the gun, he points the gun at Wax, and Wax is like, "Don't you point that gun at me, point it at her."
Yeah. And then like he pulls the whole like, if there's anything inside this, he's gonna put it next to the radio, it's gonna make noise. And she's like, no, don't do it. I was like, that's immediately tells me right there, like, okay, he's right.
Yeah.
Like, why not prove your innocence? Nope.
Yeah, he puts it up to the radio, makes the radio go staticky. And then he's like, "How do you think they were tracking us all day?" And that's the line I have a problem with. Who was tracking them?
Yeah.
They were chasing all of these people down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
They were on the
kind of
chase
like a
the
low
whole-
stakes thing, right? It's like
They were on the
they
chase
probably
the
knew
entire
where
time.
they were, but again, they didn't like utilize that intel or anything.
No,
Yeah.
and
But
yeah,
we
so
could
I was like,
assume that maybe they just didn't want to divert from the main objective. I don't know.
yeah, I didn't understand. That was the one line I was just like, was there like a backstory we missed here? Nobody was ever really chasing them. They went to the Chinese restaurant. They went to the mob boss. They followed the Pakistani guys to the drug dealer's place, and all this. They never really got chased. I mean, they were packing up when they got there. Maybe that was what they knew, but wouldn't the
And then
easier
cut
thing to
to
And
be
even when she,
killing them when they get there?
even when she runs into him in the elevator, she wasn't like following him around, because she had, which you find out later, the fabric she was grabbing was to go to the event, what she was going to do later. Like, it wasn't her following. It's like she was needing it for what her intent was going forward.
Yeah.
And then I
But
had, like,
before,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say before that, he starts looking at Caroline. He's still not pointing the gun at her, even though now it's been proven that she is in the bad guy stuff, and she's kind of backing up, and it's like obviously she's gonna grab a gun.
Yeah.
Like,
he was trying to, like,
in the moment,
talk
like,
her out of it at that point.
Yeah, and she grabs a gun, shoots him in the shoulder, shoots Rhys in the shoulder. He drops. She jumps out the window. You get some parkour between her doing really fancy parkour and like doing it great, and Charlie Wax just like bumbling through it, where he's like he's like falling. She does like he hits one spot and does like a flip and lands on her feet. He just like smashes right on his stomach at one point.
The mental note I made to myself during the scene was like, oh, it takes place in France. Of course they're going to do parkour.
Right.
I even saw some of those moments they were cutting to like the stunt guy. But I think overall it was a pretty well executed scene.
Yeah, it was.
It was good practical stunts and everything. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of jump back to the apartment where they start debugging everything. My only like thought for that was like, why go through all the effort of debugging this entire apartment? Just like put him up somewhere else. Like, he does work for the ambassador, but also I suppose you want to get rid of everything too.
Well, they probably were. I just think he was there, like, in shock.
Yeah, he was there in shock, and they were trying to. I'm guessing they were just trying to see what kind of intel they might have gotten, which that still doesn't make sense because he starts thinking about why he's important in all this, and I'm still curious why he's important in all of it.
Right. Yeah, because even then, the guy that he works with is in no relevance to any part of what they're trying to do. It's another girl that's coming into the States that's a diplomat. And then first, Travolta's kind of asking, like, can you think of anywhere she would have went or what she's doing, any friends? And he just Rhys says, I know nothing about this woman. She never wanted to talk about her life or anything. And it's like, she literally proposed to you, and you said okay. And like, why do you know nothing about her? What is your relationship timeline? Like, you're so
I had that thought. I had that
so
thought
much.
too.
I was like, you know absolutely nothing about her. Okay. So then she ends up calling while they're sitting there trying to debug the apartment, and she straight up just says, don't try tracking me down. You won't find me. They end up tracking down where she's at anyway. So Travolta like beelines it down the highway to try and get to where the airport was he trying to get to?
Well, they like isolated the background and they realized that it was the highway.
Yeah.
So he was going to go to the highway.
Yeah.
Which is questionable at best.
That part to me, it's like, well, there might be multiple payphones on the highway. You can probably hear those sounds from a lot of places.
He thought they were leaving the country. Is that what that was?
Well, he thought they were going to try to leave. But my huge problem with this is she hangs up the phone, goes to the car, and you have this reveal of the person who like changed her life and made her see a different way. You never know you never get anything from this guy.
Nope.
We've never seen him before. They did this they did like the music reveal, like, oh, here's the bad guy. You don't learn anything about him. Nope. You don't get the background of what changed in her life or what he did. You don't get any cutscenes that show that.
There's no saying what his actual name is and that he's the big bad. You're just like, oh, this is the guy she fell in love with. That's kind of just it. And then Travolta jumps in the car with the guy driving that Audi, and just like, all right, they're on their way. And then another like weird comedy timing moment where this guy's like hardcore driving them down the road, and he just turns on this. What was the radio station that he turned to? Some like lovey-dovey song.
Oh, I can't remember what the song is, but yeah.
I don't remember it either. He's just like, don't tell anybody about this.
Yeah. Which was a pretty good scene, I think. Like having that music. And then he's like, this gun's not going to do any damage. And he's like, you got anything better? And the guy's like, how about this? And he pulls a thing, and it's a rocket launcher and a machine gun in the back seat.
Very Men in Black style, with the seat like moving forward, shifting back. How about this? And I had note too. I was like, who just has a bazooka in the trunk of their car?
I mean, yeah, like that's what got me. Is like, man, like I get you're some sort of secret, special forces or something, but dang.
Yeah. And then you get like you start getting a chase scene. They're trying to chase that car down. Rhys is still back trying to figure out what she's doing. He ends up discovering that she's gonna make that cloak or whatever for the consulate. But my problem with the chase scene is he could have used the machine gun the whole time while they were driving and stopped that car. Yeah. You find out that the car is full of explosives. Mm-hmm. He was trying to bazooka it. He was right next to that car multiple times. He could have just shot the car with the machine gun.
He could have stopped the car. I don't know. But I must say, like, it was a fantastic chase scene.
Can we at
least agree on that? Like,
either way,
I miss the old chase scenes in movies.
Yeah, it was a good chase scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way the bomb goes off. Yeah.
Is less lethal with him with the machine gun than it is with him shooting with the bazooka.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like that chase scene would have stopped a lot faster if he would have just started peppering that car with the machine gun.
Yeah, so then
he would have caught the bomb just by happenstance.
We would not have got the big dramatic moment at the bridge, okay?
Well, that's true.
But before we got to that, he yells at the guy that is straight up hardcore driving him through the road. Call and tell them that they need to turn around, and like they jump to the lady that has the huge motorcade. Like, you need to turn around, madam. Like, there's potential.
We have a credible threat.
And she's like,
credible threat.
No. She's like, no.
She's like, nah.
And they're like, no, we're fine.
Who are you, lady? Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't understand her place in this. She was like part of the delegation that was for this thing, but I was like, what was the point of her?
Yeah, that's
I think it was just a bunch of delegates coming to one place.
But she was like the only one that they showed, really. But yeah, you get that big dramatic scene where he's like, "Get ahead of this guy! I can't get this bazooka right now." And he gets on the bridge ahead of him, and then you get that scene where he shoots down off the bridge, blows it up right before all of the cops and the limos go by it, and they just drive by. They're just like, "Yep, keep going. Threat neutralized."
I was so frustrated. She sit there like looking out her window at the car blown up in fire, like, oh my god, what happened? They called you. They warned you. Like, why are you surprised? Everything led up to saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't go this way. Oh my god, I can't believe this could happen.
Can you pronounce credible threat?
Yeah, credible threat. Not like maybe a threat. It was credible. Like, this is gonna happen. Yeah, and then you get to Rhys. He gets to the party. I can't remember what the party was. I can't remember what the thing was.
It was like something for Africa. It was like
yeah, it was
like a summit or something along those lines, something like that.
Delegates, diplomats coming in.
Yeah, he gets there. He swipes his card. They say, "Sorry, sir, you've already swiped in," which I guess is where you find out that that's maybe why she was with him, just for his card. But I feel like there's easier ways than being with somebody for long enough to marry them to get a card to get into this delegation thing.
Yeah, and like you had to think, like, that's got to be, and then it just kind of gets back to like, okay, you were there long enough to like maybe a year, but for him still not to know absolutely anything about her, like, what do you talk about in your free time? Like, why do you know nothing about what she does? Other than like, hey, I like textiles.
It made me think like the only contact they had was like the 5 or 10 minutes like they showed at the beginning of the movie, like every night or something.
Yeah. So then he
marry this woman.
Yeah.
You know nothing about.
Yeah, exactly. And then he starts getting stopped. The guards start getting him. He calls out to the ambassador who he sees, and the guy's like, "Let him in. He's my personal assistant, for gosh sakes," or something like that.
But not the gun.
Not the gun. But the problem with I have is he walks through the metal detector after he gets the okay to go with the ambassador. Why did he walk through the metal detector? He could have just walked around it.
It's in there, isn't it?
There was a way around it because they push him to the side around it on the other side. Just walk around.
They did, didn't they?
The ambassador gave you the all clear. Walk around it. Then they're like, "Oh, gun," and then he convinces
and then
everybody.
He sticks one of the Secret Service on him, like, hey, tail him.
Yeah.
Make sure he's not up to any bad stuff.
And then he tells the ambassador the entire, like, everything, like, hey, there's a suicide bomber here. I know who it is. And he's like, well, who is it? It's my fiance. Are you sure she's here? No, I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure.
Found out that your card has already been swiped, and like clearly it has to be like the context clues are already there. Like she's there.
Why wouldn't he just lie anyway? Don't tell them. Why would you tell them? Yes, that she's here.
Is she here?
I know that.
I'll be honest. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe. So then he goes off looking, trying to find her, but some dude was still tailing Rhys the entire time. And then he runs into a room where everybody's wearing these orange cloaks. I'm like, I apologize for like not knowing what the type of dress they're wearing. I'm assuming it's some type of like African official dress. So he just grabs a gun and just starts screaming, Caroline, Caroline! And then he recognizes her by some heels that she was wearing earlier.
Well, I think he grabbed that gun from the security officer just to clear the room.
Yeah,
there's too many lookalikes with the same clothes that he was like, I got to clear this room, and she'll probably be the one that stays because she wants to do the damage to the place.
Mm-hmm. Can we take a quick moment to appreciate probably one of my favorite tropes in movies that I had during this scene, which is, oh no, they're all in orange.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
And the same thing with, oh, their shoes are different. You're telling me that she's wearing red high heels to go blow up a building?
Yeah, why would she do that? Like, why would she dress in heels? You think she'd be in just like moccasins or I don't know, something casual?
I thought it was kind of goofy that that was the thing that he remembered her by, because she was wearing them earlier when she was showing off a dress at home, and he just happened to recognize, like, oh, I know those heels.
Yeah, weird thing there.
And then they kind of jump into like she's like, I'm gonna do this. I need to blow this up, and he's trying to like talk her off the ledge kind of thing, and just says, I still love you.
But you never find out why. Why is she blowing this place up? Why this thing? They never say.
Again, I think it was just targeting some delegates.
And if it happened to be the American delegate, like you see afterwards, she's not even there yet. So then she's just blowing it up to blow it up. So then she, like you mentioned, she's like reaching for her chest. She's gonna do it, and then he has to shoot her in the head. And so that explains to me why you explained what type of vest it is. Because Travolta runs in and catches her before she falls. So
yeah, he's like, oh my god!
That's like okay. So like,
well, that's what she was doing with her hand. She was just gonna hit it. Like that's what her hand was. Yeah. She was just gonna hit it. Yeah, then he shoots her in the head, one shot.
Mm-hmm. And then a pretty brutal scene.
It was actually, yeah, for what the movie was for most of it. Yeah, that was a pretty brutal scene.
And and again, you get outside and they're just like, yep, she's dead. And they're just assuming that's the end of it. And you have the American, I assumed congressman, just kind of sticking to that whole like, okay, they're just jerks, because she's just like, why are we here? Why can't I go inside? I want to go inside.
Yeah, that congresswoman, she's just...
Whoever had me hold up should be fired.
That's why I still didn't understand the point of her just to be like that, but it was, just a part of the movie. So then then they cut forward to them walking in an airport.
Yeah, they're on the tarmac.
Yep, and Charlie Wax is talking about how, Rhys says something along the lines of like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, and Charlie Wax is like, no, I think you're probably going to be getting a lot more field work, like with me. Like you have that buddy cop moment where now they're like best friends, and he's like, but first you got to play me in chess. And he's like, I thought you didn't play chess, and blah, 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 something along those lines. But then he's like, that's fine, I'm a sore loser, and Charlie Wax pulls out his gun. And then Rhys pulls out his gun, which is like either like a 45 or a Desert Eagle, which is a big gun, and like acts like he's a cool guy now.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been cool this whole movie. He has not been cool. He's not been the cool action guy. He's been a rookie who didn't have any clue what was going on. It's like, don't act. Don't act
pretty
cool.
much like held them back most of the movie, to be honest.
Yes.
I didn't understand, like, just before that, he gives him a little baggie, and it has like the evidence that they took from the apartment, and it's a photo of him and his ex-fiance that he just shot in the forehead. And he's like, here's something to remember her by. It's like, oh, thanks, man. It's like, no, like she was actively trying to kill me, and I shot her in the face. Like, why are you gonna give me a photo of us together? Like, it was all a lie.
Because he wanted it. he loved her even though he didn't know who she was or anything about her.
Like, and Rhys
Gosh.
likely would have been there when the bomb went off. So, like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
I didn't understand that part.
No.
Like, yeah, I get you might have had some feelings for her, maybe, but at the same time, like, you realize she was just gonna off you.
Yeah, and like
Exactly.
I hated that because like there's no culmination again for this movie for me of like who was the big bad must have been the guy in the car that they shot with the bazooka. Okay, the entire threat is dead because I'm guessing we just murdered through everybody in the entire France area. We're just all good now. Okay, fine. I don't know,
Yeah.
it just felt like a very abrupt like kid shot her in the head. She was the
Yeah,
last
and
one.
they definitely left it open for like a more buddy cop with John Travolta and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. And I did read that John Travolta wanted to do actually like 2 more movies where it was like From Prague with Love and From London with Love or something along those lines. So they did want to do more movies, which
A franchise.
I feel like maybe at least one more movie would have been okay. I mean, it was a decent action comedy flick for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
Mhm.
I guess, yeah. Well, I think now is as good a time as any, right? Moving to final thoughts and scores.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and start off here. Yeah, I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting much from it. I'm like, John Travolta, kind of old. Maybe just try to do a film where he can. You know, it'll be some generic action flick. Which, to be fair, it was.
It
in some
was,
of the
yeah.
parts, but
Yeah.
I think overall it was an enjoyable experience. I think it was an enjoyable movie. So I'm going to give it 1153 out of 1507.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was actually very close to that. Same thing. I do miss some of those payoffs like Dunkel and I were talking about where like, you don't get all the background and stuff like that. I give it 1157 actually out of 1507.
Dang,
So
4 points off.
So pretty close to the exact same. Like I said, it was a good action flick. There was some good comedy in there. There was just some things that like, I kind of dock that points where like I want some of that background to know what was driving the bad guys, but yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, I'd say about 1180. It was still good. Just like the few plot points for me, but again, it definitely like the ending left it open for the potential of a second one. But knowing that we're 16 years later and what are the chances they make a second one kind of sucks. But yeah, like, still a good movie. I enjoyed it. Good action, good like minor humor moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty close scores. I'm surprised that we all kind of landed right around that same area.
Yeah. It's pretty good average. It's like an 80 something, I think, close to 80.
Mhm.
If you want a good, just a good kind of short. It was only an hour and a half. Doesn't take out too much of your time.
Yeah.
Want a good little action romp? I'd recommend this movie.
Secondary reminder that it only got a 4.7 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
for rating altogether.
But next week, we're gonna hop in our phone booth and we're gonna travel back to 1987, and we're gonna have some time with The Odd Couple, but in Los Angeles. Guess you'll have to find out. But as always, people, if you like the podcast, please leave comments on our Facebook page or wherever you can. Check us out on any of the podcast services. We would love your feedback. Anything we can do to improve and be better for you, that would be fantastic. But until next Monday, everybody go out and have a good one.
Yep. Catch you
Everybody.
later.
See ya.